Hey guys, this is Brendan Page of Andovia, and you're listening to Nothing Shocking Podcast.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking Podcast, a non-genre based, all-ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Isn't it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied, and with me in Dog Bowl's studio is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking Podcast on Libsyn or any podcatchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on X at No Shock Pod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking Podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Big Strix Vinyl Records and Sports Cards, located in Rock Island, Illinois. New, vintage, and previously owned. You can find it at Big Strix. We would like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for allowing us to use their music for our intro and bumper ending. And our guest is
Brendan Page
of Andovia, and they're promoting their debut album, Delusion. The band is located in the Athens and Atlanta, Georgia area.
Check them out.
Okay, let's get to that interview. Good night. Brendan, welcome to the Nothing Shocking Podcast. I'd like to introduce you, my co-host, Jeff Untied.
Brendan, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you. So, okay, here's the story. I'm a school teacher by day, and I get to work really early in the mornings, and I put my headphones on, and I walk to school, get a couple miles in, and listening to Spotify, and my Lord, Andovia popped on, and I was like, whoa. These guys are fantastic. We got to interview one of these guys. Yeah. So let's get right into this. Andovia recently released the band's newest album, Delusion. Can you talk a little bit more about the band's creative approach and making this this really cool music, I should say? And it's a throwback of sorts, and it's a real banger. So talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of coming up with everything it was a bit of a mix. Sometimes I'll kind of sit down at home and work through some demos and then bring it to everybody, and we'll expand upon it. There's some of the songs on there, like Moonstruck. Chet, our bassist, he wrote the entire like structure of it, and then we got together and built out the rest together. So it's kind of like whenever somebody feels like they've got something in them and they can document it, and we'll all get together, sit in our practice space, and then kind of turn it into what it's going to end up being.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, Bled My Heart was a great track off that album. Can you talk a little bit about the creation of that song?
Yeah, so that one I was just kind of sitting at home one day, and usually like the writing process for me is usually goes about like I'm sitting at home bored, and then I'm like, I think I might have something in me today, and then I just kind of open up Studio One, which is the DAW that I track everything in, and kind of just slammed through the instrumental part of it, and I sent it to the guys, and as soon as my brother John, he plays guitar with us, he heard like that opening guitar riff that was still just like that in the demo. And he was like, oh yeah, this is the one, dude. So we all kind of got in a room together and started jamming through it. And the bridge part towards the kind of like middle to end we kind of built that out together a little bit more. And yeah, I don't know, that one was just kind of, it kind of came over me, and I blasted it out onto recording software, and then that was really it.
Nice.
Well, it seems like, most musical artists usually have a method to their madness when it comes to songwriting. They're very, rigid on how they create and they write their music. For you and the rest of the band, are you guys very streamlined in your way of songwriting, or are you guys a little bit more eclectic? How does it work for you and the rest of the band?
It's a little bit chaotic how it comes about. We don't really have like a super structured method to writing our songs. It's, from a personal standpoint for me, I kind of have like, it's almost kind of like a compulsion where I'm like, it comes on strong and I know that I need to get something out musically. And then I usually hyper focus on it for, several hours at a time. And then after I've gotten it all out, I'm like, okay, I think that's it for today. And then we kind of just put it in a folder, and we'll sit there and listen on like Google Drive or, some kind of like document sharing site. And we'll just put it in headphones and listen over and over again to the demos. And then listening to that, like I'll just kind of pace around the house listening to it. And then that's when the vocal melody will kind of come to me once all of the music and the structure is there.
Well, I guess the question I would have to double down on what I just asked you is vocally, you're very Lane Staley-esque in your sound. Is that intentional, or is this a natural thing for you? Because that was the first thing that captivated me to the band's music was your vocals.
Yeah, so probably when I was maybe like 13 or 14, that was when I really started trying to sing. And all that I listened to was just Nirvana and Alice in Chains.
Nice.
So as I kind of started to try to develop myself, I was leaning on, kind of at first kind of, I think everybody kind of emulates like what they love. And then I tried to find myself somewhere in there through that. But I'm super very influenced by Alice in Chains, especially with harmonies. I love putting harmonies in anywhere where we feel like we can that would be like tasteful.
We love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess talk a little bit about today's, you guys are growing up in the social media world, and so you got, Facebook page was really cool. I found a couple clips on there where they were a lot of fun. There was one like bass tabs and your bass player, you guys are all tied up with duct tape and the bass player's just taking over and starts playing a song. That's a lot of fun. It looks like you guys are a good group.
Yeah, we try to be goofy with it just because it's kind of the name of the game now. If you don't do some form of social media, then it just, that's your way that you get people to see you. But we also, at the same time, as a band, we feel like there's just something that feels phony to us about having to do it. So we were like, you know what? If we could do this in a way where we kind of make fun of ourselves and we can do funny stuff that'll make people laugh, then I think that would sit right with us, in terms of having to do it.
And not to take yourselves too seriously. That's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
But in this era now for young bands, it seems like social medias and the TikToks now are what MTV used to be for people like Jeff and I's era. Talk about the social media and the TikTok presence for you and the rest of the band. How important and involved are you with it? And I guess in this day and age, in this landscape of the music business, is a music video important for you and the rest of the band members to have?
It's a really good question. I love music videos, and we kind of went back and forth with trying to come up with like some concepts for one and whether we should or shouldn't. And ultimately, and unfortunately, I think we decided that it would probably be a waste of funds for us, even though they look cool and we love them personally. Everything's short form content now. Yeah. So you're almost better off making like mini music videos. You know, if you could capture like your chorus and do a really cool shot of something and then rotate that on social media. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish that we could just do a really awesome music video and put it out on YouTube and it do great just by itself. But yeah, I think the way the world's working now, it's 15 to 25 seconds, and that's all you can get people for.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well said.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's talk more about the band's origins. You guys come from, is it Atlanta or Athens? I know you guys kind of claim a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, we're a little in between. We're kind of spread out, and our drummer Cole, he when we first started, he was living in Atlanta, and I'm pretty close. I'm in Gwinnett, just a little bit north of that, and then Chet and John, they were up towards Athens. Cole's since moved up into Athens, so that's kind of like where we do most of like our shows and everything. But we all kind of come from all over to meet up and rehearse. But we at this point, the way that it is here, like show wise, most people are kind of bouncing up between the two.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, there's one long highway that connects both of them, so you can kind of just shoot back and forth.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about recently you guys had, I think you opened for the Himalayas in June.
Yes.
At the Masquerade in Atlanta. Can you talk a little bit about that show?
Yeah, that was actually that was really awesome for us because I had played the Masquerade, but it was actually the old Masquerade, which was like a super important spot to everybody, like when I was younger. So this was my first time kind of going back to the new one. And, for the first time of us going there and playing there, and we were able to get a direct support slot, we really appreciated the Masquerade doing that for us. And the guys in Himalayas were really, really sweet guys. And we were really grateful that they had us out there for that. We actually played that with some good friends of ours in a band called Bo Anderson. And they were on that bill too. And they're fantastic to watch live. They just have so much energy.
Well, a lot of great bands have come out of the Atlanta, Athens, Georgia area. Can you talk about some of the other, are bands very supportive of other bands coming up, or how does it work in the scene?
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite things that's in my life that's happening right now is just how tight the community is, because pre-COVID, that wasn't happening like at all. Everybody was very working for themselves. It was very cutthroat. There wasn't a whole lot of people helping each other and trying to make a point to go to other people's shows. Now that's like exactly what's happening. For the most part, everybody's getting out on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, whatever, and everyone's trying to go to as many people's shows as they possibly can. Because, if you go do that for somebody, then they do that for you. The next thing you know, all of us are doing this thing together. And it kind of just helps like elevate the entire thing. for everyone when we can kind of band together. But there's a lot of great bands that are here. If I could give you guys a couple of them to check out, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got some really good friends in a band called Intention, and they're fantastic. Same thing for a band called Greywater. Bo Anderson, like I was telling you guys, that we just played the Masquerade with. They're awesome. Frigga 5, Cash Honey, Estimated Principles, Seventh Try, a band called Blue, and everybody's very tight knit. It's been really nice to have that, I think, for everybody. It's just kind of, I don't know. Well, it's a different vibe than it used to be.
No, that's inspirational. Good to hear.
Yeah, that what makes that so cool about having such a cool network like that is it brings me back to the old Seattle, grunge scene. Is that's when a lot of cool side projects start too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think there's definitely a handful of us who are talking about like, hey, could we do a super group and put a single out, or could we get together and do some little like EPs with a group of guys, or we just recently, a handful of us got together and did like an unplugged show, which was really awesome. Yeah.
We've talked to so many artists from the Atlanta area over the years, and we haven't really spoke to many from the Athens area. But, when I think of Athens, I think of REM. Yeah. And when I think of Atlanta, I think of hip hop or country. But I guess, can you talk a little bit more about the rock and roll culture of those two metropolitan areas?
Yeah, it's kind of really ever since Deftones just started like kind of re-blowing up on TikTok and stuff like that, and Super Heaven, like kind of post COVID, everyone's stuck inside, and there's nothing to do. I think just a lot of kids started going, there's not much I can do, but maybe I could pick up an instrument. And I think that that led us here. And it's changed the music scene drastically here. There's a lot of grunge, new grunge, shoegaze influence going on between everybody. And it's definitely kind of shaping up into its own scene, I feel like, for sure.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I guess talk about the band's approach to, like, short. Do you guys do short run tours where you just go out for maybe a couple weeks at a time, or maybe a couple weekends? How does it work for the band?
So we haven't done our first little runs yet, but we're definitely planning to. And kind of going back to what we were saying about the community here, we're trying to work that stuff out with each other so that we can start going, all right, what if a couple of us go do 4 days in Florida and then we come back and then we trade out, and then a few of us go over and hit the Carolinas or Tennessee or, maybe Birmingham. And so I think we're going to, definitely a handful of those bands I mentioned, they're already jumping into that, and we're hoping to start doing that with them at hopefully the beginning of next year.
So cool. Yeah. I wanted to bring this back to the Delusion album. With it being strictly released on a digital format, will we ever see this album resurface as a vinyl product or CD product? Because Jeff and I are kind of antsy to get our hands on a physical copy if possible. Yeah.
So we're for sure going to, we'll roll out probably like a limited amount of CDs here soon, because we did make them when we first did the release, and we were selling them just at shows, but we're getting a merch store together here to launch soon on our website, and nice. We're probably going to try to, we're going to do, a little bit of CDs, and it's a little bit pricey, but if we get enough requests for vinyl, I think we're going to try to do a limited run of those as well.
Well, okay, so the deal is that when these ever come back in physical product, please get a hold of me so Jeff and I can be first in line to buy 2 copies. And then, so here's my brilliant idea. Are you ready for vinyl? If you guys can actually do it on vinyl, with it,
sure.
the album, what the cover is a sunflower, right? Is that right? Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if the vinyl looked like a sunburst vinyl? Would that be cool?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be neat.
There's my brilliant idea.
Yeah, you should send me some concept artwork or something.
I am no artist, but I have a lot of great ideas in my head.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. I see a lot of artists, and I check out a lot of artists on Bandcamp. I know you guys are on there too. Can you talk a little bit about the band's approach to trying different venues to get your music out there?
Oh, in terms of selling digital copies and stuff. Yeah, I mean, Spotify, you have to.
Yes.
That's where everybody listens. Same, kind of same for Apple Music. And then if you're going to hit those, you might as well hit all the other markets like Amazon and stuff like that. But Bandcamp, you want to have a place where it can go just directly to you. And it's also nice that people can kind of choose what they want to decide to pay for things on there. So sometimes people are really sweet to us, and we'll see that they bought an album for $30 or something like that, or bought the album for $30. And it's kind of a nice way to directly release your music, also, in high quality format. That when you're buying an album on Bandcamp, you're getting a WAV file. You're not listening to an MP3 where it's been over compressed. But Bandcamp's really nice for you can do online merch stores through them and stuff like that. But it's just a little bit more artist friendly approach to putting your music out there than Spotify, who will give you 0.004 of a cent per play.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. With the single "Bled My Heart" reaching 100,000 streams, how did you and your bandmates, decide to say, okay, which track is going to be the featured single off this album? Because for me, man, every song is a banger on that album. How did you narrow it down to say, okay, "Bled My Heart," this is the one?
I think that when we were sitting listening to initial demos, there was just kind of a moment where we listened to that one and everybody just looked up at each other. And I think we knew that one had something that we weren't really getting out of the other ones. It just had the opening riff really grabs your attention, and we felt, emotionally really connected to the song. And it was kind of just one of those when moments. And then there were, the whole rest of the album was a complete toss up. We were all going, all right, I think it's going to be this one next, or I think it'll be that one next. And usually we're all wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and I imagine with having, recorded such a solid album, from the first track to the very last track, it couldn't have been easy for you guys to narrow it down that easily. It probably had to be a struggle for you and the rest of your bandmates.
It was. We didn't have too many demo ideas that just didn't make it. For the most part, this one was just kind of everything we had at the moment and everything we had been playing from when we first started as a band, and then on for a couple of years. So it was, some of them we are sick of listening to because I kind of, when we first started the band, I actually looked at everybody and they weren't playing instruments yet. And I was like, hey, music hasn't been working out super great for me lately, and I have to start a new project. I would really like if you guys would learn all of your instruments to be in a band with me, because we're all related, and I really didn't want to go for this another time with people that I wasn't already comfortable with. So yeah, my cousin and my brother learned guitar and drums, and then our good friend Chet, he learned bass. And so there's some stuff on there where it's everything we had at the moment, because it's all that we could come up with while trying to become a band.
Yeah. Well, you guys are really blessed then, because you guys did a hell of a job for being, you felt to say like, hey, will you learn your instruments? Because you guys make some really kick-ass music.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And then, so you guys have a new single you guys are working on, Impulse Control. You talked about going into the studio and working with producer Craig Hendler of GMH Audio. Can you talk a little bit about working with him?
Yeah, we're really excited about doing this song, because like I was telling you guys a minute ago, we spent a lot of time trying to become a band and figure out how to be a band with each other. And now we're at a point where we really know each other musically, and we feel like we're heading in a more cohesive and kind of locked in direction vibe wise with each other. So we're really pumped. This will be our first time too going in an actual studio setting and working with the producer, which I'm really excited for us to have like that outside perspective, because it's very easy when you're engineering for yourself or mixing for yourself to just mix it into oblivion because you're overthinking every little piece. So we're really excited to be kind of hands off on that part, so that we can do our very best to serve the song and make something as good as we possibly can.
Let's talk about the band's vault of music. I know you said that you guys pretty much released everything that you've created, but since then, what is the vault of Andovia's unreleased music look like right now?
We're probably at a point where we've got maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 demoed ideas, where we're kind of going back through and listening and trying to decide, is this something that just needed to get out of us for the moment, but it's not necessarily going to make the cut, or is this going to be a single? So we've got for sure some more stuff, in terms of being able to bang out another album. But I think this time we're going to take it maybe a little bit slower, get through our single, see how the single goes, and then and start working through the rest. But yeah, we definitely we're starting to stack up the demos again.
Oh, exciting! Yeah, very much so.
I think you do vocals and guitar. Which one do you go to first when you're writing songs?
Always music first. I can't. I'm unable to kind of like connect with a melody vocally unless I have something that I can listen back to. So normally we get like a complete and total, fully structured instrumental demo, and then I just throw it in my headphones and I listen to it over and over again, and I start kind of like writing down words and journaling while I'm doing that, and then eventually kind of work it into a melody and the actual lyrics. Usually they're completely like ridiculous lyrics at first, and then and they make their way into something a little more solid.
I guess the thing that fascinates me with artists now, whether it's regardless of the genre, is that so many artists now are releasing singles, X amount of weeks or months or however it is. They never really release a full album any longer. The thing that gets me is that with, a band like Andovia is a very album oriented type of rock and roll. And what we're losing out on as rock fans of Jeff and I and so many others is that we're losing out on that deep cut on albums. That some of the classic bands, the deep cuts were my favorite songs. For you, the artist and the fan, how invested are you of creating the deep cut on your music to say, hey, this is not going to be a single, but this is going to be one heck of a deep cut that maybe some people won't realize how much work went into it?
That's a good question. I think for all of us, if it's 13 and a half minutes and it came out like that and it's supposed to be that way, then that's how the song is. If it's 3.5 and it's a, almost a pop song, then that's how the song is. We're really not super concerned with trying to make it as singly as possible, but the unfortunate part of the whole deal is that the whole industry wants you to go put out the single, maximize the single, push the streams, don't distract from that until it's ran its cycle. Okay, now push the other one out, and everything's very built off of that model now. Some of it's necessary for driving engagement, but at the same time, we're not super concerned with it. It's going to be what it's going to be. We're all doing this together because we feel like we have to. It's almost like a form of therapy in a way. And so if it, we just, we try to have it come out the way, however it's naturally going to come out, and try not to worry too much about what might be expected of us in terms of driving streams up. We're definitely going to put a single out, maybe another one after this, maybe another one after that, but we're for sure going to have songs that are 6-7 minutes long, that have a 45-minute long, solo or whatever.
That's so refreshing to hear. Yeah. I have one last question for you. I don't know if Jeff does or not, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it. The mystery of rock and roll. So it's no longer a thing since the social medias of the world took the industry over, and there is no Kiss anymore of, are they really human beings, or was Led Zeppelin, were they real, Satan worshipers of, back in the 60s and 70s? For you, the fan and the artist, what do you prefer most now? This new age of accessibility? Because let's face it, if we didn't have the internet, we would not be doing this with you tonight. But on the flip side, do you miss that mystery of, hey, there's no way we're ever going to be able to interview that guy?
I definitely miss that for sure. I definitely miss that. I think that we have a better way to connect with each other now, and an easier way to connect with each other now. But I do think that a potential downside to the way that things are working with social media now is that there's a possibility people won't be that larger than life thing.
Right.
We might, be able to make a living, and like survive and express yourself and get it out there to people, which is really the most important part. But it may not ever elevate to that same level again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. We're running out of our allotted time for the evening. Is there anything that we left off tonight that you would like to plug or promote?
Oh gosh, just the scene here. I think there's really something special going on. Not to take away from any other cities that might have fantastic bands, but I would just really encourage as many people as I possibly can to listen to everything that's happening in Atlanta or Athens, or really just Georgia as a whole. There's really a I would say probably a growing movement of sorts where everyone's, maybe not the same genre, but in line enough with each other to be all playing shows together and taking care of each other. I think that's, if I could tell you anything, it would be come to Atlanta, come to Athens, check out shows, check out bands.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like Jeff and I are going to do a road trip here.
Yeah.
So, well, this is how things are going to work out once Jeff gets it all polished and everything. We'll get this episode out to you, and please share it to all your social medias and what have you. We really appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, right back at you guys. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Brendan, thank you so much. We appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you. We're really
Right
looking
back
forward
at
to
you
see
guys.
what you guys got coming up next.
Yeah, and don't forget, let me know when you got some physical products so we can buy some off you, okay?
I will, absolutely. As soon as we get some CDs made, I'll let you guys know, and if we can get some vinyl rolling, I'll definitely.
All right, man.
Touch with you on that too.
We appreciate it, and like I said, I'll be in touch with you. I'll text you the link when it's ready to go. Okay.
Sweet, sounds good. Thanks guys.
Man. Take care. Bye. Bye.
You too. Bye.
If they ever take from you, then you plug out.